This NFL Draft Props edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's US-based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100x in NBA, MLB, NHL, college basketball, and more. Sign up today using promo code SGPN to get a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by the premier arbitrage sports betting tool, Avo. Use their tool to bet both sides and lock in a profit. Access their platform for free at arbsversusodds.com. That's ARBSVSodds.com. Plus, in honor of Masters Week, the Golf Gambling Podcast guys are giving away a tailor-made Spider X putter for free. Enter at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/masters.
Hey, it's Peyton Manning, and you're listening to SGPN. Let's rock.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Oh baby, here we go. Smile for the camera.
Yes, looking good, Kramer. What's happening?
Oh, I don't feel great. Thanks thanks for saying that.
Why don't you feel great?
What do you mean? There's no football.
Oh, okay.
It's springtime, so there's only 4 football games every week.
There are. Joining us from the UFL Gambling Podcast, he knows spring ball. CJ Sullivan, aka the Man in the Box. What's happening, CJ?
What's up, fellas? Good to be back in here in the 3-man weave, the prop show, the prop bombs, the laddie daddy. I did break out a couple ladders for the championship game. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is
Yeah,
live,
there were some people that were asking for you.
Yeah.
Well, I will say I had some conversations with some fans recently. Sean,
Laddie daddies.
I don't think I've
CJ.
shared. I don't think I've even shared this with you yet. But the one person was really sad that the football season ended because CJ wasn't on the show as much.
If there was only a way to listen to me and that's not on your NFL main show.
But he knew your name. That's
good. That's something.
The other guy, huge fan of the show, wanted to hear more of Colby, the stoner. Didn't know Colby's name, knew he was the stoner.
It is funny.
Like, are you sure this is
It is funny, the stuff that I can't tell you how many times I've gotten congratulations for Kramer's picks on social media. I always roll with it. I go, yeah, we rock. I never point out that it was Kramer the one.
No
Kramer's head's big enough. Doesn't need to be.
So he confused me for Colby as a stoner. Colby, is that what?
No. I was just commenting that the feedback about you was completely normal. Like, hey, like CJ,
right?
So he's not like to having him on the show every week. Whereas the Colby feedback, who's been on a ton of shows,
right.
No.
He's just a stoner. Didn't know his name. And which is funny.
Colby
because
as a stoner is pretty fun.
Colby is also deathly afraid of being stoned. So it's actually cool. Because you know what would happen? I figured out why he's so scared of being stoned.
You're
because
right
he
about
doesn't want to actually think about anything. He just wants to be mad at it.
No, you're right about that. Yeah, you certainly want to be.
Well, take away his anger, weed. So that's kind of his main thing. I've gotten a ton of was getting some positive feedback from another listener on
wow.
What was it, the other day show? They said they loved the Bottom Line Bomb show, but they said they were concerned about CJ and his ad reads. They said,
no.
He goes, are you guys gonna have an intervention with CJ and his ad reads?
Well,
so maybe you got a little narc in the.
At least they're listening. Though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Hey, they're engaged with the ad copy.
You know what
which
this is, CJ? You're running into Colby's cult. Because they hear Colby get chastised on the show. We bring him into the human resources department. We have a conversation with him. And they're probably like, "Hey, why aren't you guys doing the same thing to CJ? This isn't fair for our guy Colby."
We had a good.
You gotta be careful with Colby's people.
It wouldn't be the first company that told me that to pull back the instructions of make it your own. Like, you know what? You don't have to make it your own. Just make it whatever we write.
I will say, I'm Sean's pretty transparent on direct feedback from partners. So it sounds like things are going pretty well.
I think they'd be.
If not for this
I think they'd be over the. I think they would be over the moon
if not for this fucking
right.
snitch.
I mean, they're getting free fucking quality performance advertising.
Oh man,
who's this snitch you speak?
There was a certain.
I know. See, Jenner diming me out.
I don't think so. I'm telling you, it's a Colby's. Right. It's one of these these Kool-Aid drinkers.
We did have one back and forth. Because me and Dundee, we do the college show along with the UFL show, where I forget what ad read it was. It might have been the Manscaping or something, but we would do back and forth, kind of like a little sketch almost, and he couldn't get through it. He was like on the ground laughing, and I was like, I can't imagine if you are stoned, because he was laughing like he was stoned. Like, it was so hard, and we barely said the company's name, but. It was very fun.
Well,
it was contagious laughter.
It was probably good.
It was great. It was amazing. It was contagious laughter.
Excellent.
But it got to that laugh level where we don't even know what we're laughing at this point.
Yeah,
Gets unhinged.
You lose oxygen
For sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we did. There was one feedback I got regarding some ad reads where they were very specific on wanting to, and then I had to go back and review some of this was not CJ, some of the reads, and well, we're not Harvard's Rhodes Scholars as a company here, just reading, and the person was trying to read verbatim what was on the sheet, but the words they were saying were not matching the sheet. It reminded me of when Gronk famously we wrote a sketch for him called Chore Sports, and we eventually just had to adjust the title because he kept calling it Jor Sports. He'd never heard of the word chore.
I thought you were going to go a different direction with that. That's actually not bad. No. That's not a bad misread of Jor, where he could have went with that.
And one of the co-hosts was like, Gronk, you never did any chores growing up? Shoveling the sidewalk, doing dishes? He goes, no, I was too busy scoring touchdowns.
Oh, man. Jesus Christ.
He's everyone's favorite.
Oh, Gronk's the man. All right. Hey, speaking of other shows, Masters Week, Golf Gambling Podcast, giving away a tailor-made Spider X putter for free. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/masters to get in over there. And San Diego, Tension, Ryan and I are going down there to hang out with our buddy Derek Stevens, Big Balls, over at Swing Social San Diego, starting 4:00 there for the Cubs Padres game. You show up in Cubs and or Padres gear, you get free drinks. They got a golf simulator. I mean, what a better way? Is there a better way to spend a Tuesday afternoon? Gaslight District down there in San Diego, super nice. So highly recommend if you're in the San Diego area, come out, say hi. Like Ryan said, he's willing to talk UFL to you if you want to talk about that instead of baseball. And we got this week's Real Men of Degen coming up. Of course, that's brought to you by Cut. Head over to cut.com, use that promo code SGPN, get you the 10% deposit bonus, custom bets, the ultimate put your money where your mouth is. And again, if you are able to take down Kramer or I on Cut, we will tack on a $100 SGPN gift card. I'm sitting on a UConn, laying the points position, still time to get in over there. And I know I had NC State money line. So if you were one of the people on the opposite side of that bet, you got a good time to claim it. You can put custom bets. You can get almost anything with a verifiable outcome listed over on Cut. So download the Cut app today, KUTT.com. Use the promo code SGPN, get you the 10% deposit bonus. Cut.com.
I don't know if there's enough liquidity in the system, but maybe I'll get down for a little 4-figure Purdue money line action.
All right, so stay tuned. Still time.
I'll go look you up. What's your handle?
Get me my knife, Sean.
Ryan usually goes big money line favorite, so if he's on the dog,
well, Bet Detective will come at you. I'm on Cut as Bet Detective.
Oh, I sliced some people up last round.
Yeah, I saw your bragging posts. I don't actually I want no parts of you're on too much. You're on a cut heater.
Well, a little inside the office joke, but I had to turn the notifications back on because I knew it would provide good content, one way or another. Yeah. So I did get the winning notifications when I. Oh,
nice.
Well, I knew the content would be good. I was just gonna screenshot it one way or another, post it. Who know? One guy who went against me, his avatar was actually someone threatening to cut off his own dick. Yeah.
Was it Mike Vrabel?
No, it was not.
I mean, everyone should change their cut profile to Mike Vrabel. That would be a great honor for him, I'm sure.
He's willing to sacrifice a lot. That's for sure.
They get you with those notifications on that cut.
Don't get Sean started.
No, great guys. One thing of feedback is I don't need your bet loss notification.
Oh my god!
I see. I know what I
know. And they keep reminding you. You sure you don't have them on? You want us to change it for? We'll change it for you. Just give us the word. Relax, cut.
I do think it is probably wise because someone's going to go back in there when they have more money to have a filter. Maybe they start with only getting the winning notifications. You can call it the Sean Green policy.
Yes, winners only, baby.
I don't need the losing ones too. That's so funny. I was like,
SGP.
I did a free. So I don't want to interrupt.
No. Sorry.
I was just gonna say real quick. I did a free Yahoo bracket or whatever, and they give you and they give you nonstop email notifications like, here you are after the second round, you are like under 46% busted.
Yeah,
you have no chance. Like, okay, Yahoo.
Someone needs to tell Yahoo.
Right.
Like, no one cares about your bracket.
No
even
one
you.
cares. Right. Exactly.
You've already fired it off.
Yeah.
I'll check in later.
Yeah, I watched Yale beat Auburn. I'm aware. I don't need the notification. All right, time for this week's edition of Real Men of Degen.
SGPN presents Real Men of Degen. Real Men of Degen. We salute you.
Robin Schnepp, Anthony Lausch, two Rivers Casino employees, probably former casino employees, because they got arrested for charges related to rigging table games. That's right. Investigators said Schnepp worked at the video roulette table. She allegedly would spin the ball in a way that it wouldn't set off the sensors and allow players to continue betting even after a number hit. Her supervisor, Lausch, would allegedly override the error instead of just voiding all plays, which should have happened. He, as a supervisor, was able to use his electronic fob on the machine and verify the number that was hit.
Love it.
Now, this was, they were tipped off thanks to a handwritten letter.
Oh, no.
Which means I was trying to think who would tip them off to this. It had to have been another employee sleeping with someone's. It's got to be personal, right? Like you got a great skim going. Why would you? The handwritten letter feels personal.
Who's getting hurt?
It could even be a loser. Anyone, just some inner feelings. Well, fuck. If I'm losing, you're losing, kind of situation. But I will say they messed up with. You go big and you get out of there. You don't do the constant over and over and over.
They had been slowly bleeding it, and they're like, we don't know how far this goes back. And Lausch and Schnepp have been employees for 15 years. They're doing a deeper dive. You got greedy to CJ's point. One big haul, and then you say you're pursuing your dream of traveling abroad or whatever.
This is the problem. It's just like that fantasy thing that happened, Sean. It's like it turns out the guy's been there for a long time. Now everyone's in trouble because obviously they've been cheating the entire time.
Look out!
I saw the press conference they did with that too. Actually, of this one. Is this one Pittsburgh?
Yes,
Rivers?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And the cops were like, are explaining. It's kind of like when they do a big drug bust and they explain it thinking that we're going to be on their side. Yeah. Like, no, this is a victimless crime. The casino is not.
No one's rooting for Rivers Casino,
like,
except maybe the people that work.
Yeah, they're like, they did it in the crew pay, this a table they got for $8,000. We're not going to be working anymore. Who knows when that game's going to be back in order? We're like, fuck you.
I mean, that's the problem. But the problem is that everyone that starts pulling this off is like, well, shit, it's working.
Right.
Yeah.
And they keep going, and every forensic files ends the same way, where eventually they get caught. I mean, honestly,
if it wasn't for the forensic evidence, would have gotten away with it.
They would have gone away.
Ryan, draft props.
Okay.
We're doing 5 each, and then we got best bets for tomorrow as well. So a lot to give out. Kramer, what do you got?
All right, I'll go first. A little bit cheating here because we've talked about this before, but we haven't actually gone through this market. I still think the price is fine. Honestly, it makes the former favorite Jonathan Brooks interesting now. He's at plus 250, plus 280. But Trey Benson, you can still get plus 200 over at FanDuel, and I think the more that I read, the more it seems almost a lot like this is going to be an even money bet or a minus odds bet by draft guy. I don't think anyone that is going to like everyone that likes the idea of a running back in the second round also likes Trey Benson. In some cases, there's been top 30 visits. So I would be, this feels like still a good bet. Sean, I first proclaimed this was a great bet at 4-1. I believe. Yeah. It's now 2-1. I don't like it. I brought it up because I wanted to remind people that I have all this closing line value, but I would still bet it here at 2-1. So Trey Benson, first running back, Florida State kid. I like it.
Let's go.
Yep.
CJ, what do you got? What's a draft prop jumping at you?
A shorter price when I go draft, I like to go big bombs. By the way, I like to go bombs. Like this. I'll start off short, but I have a bomb backup. I'll tell a little later for this one. This is my shortest one I have on the board here, plus 150. Dallas Turner to go 8th to Atlanta.
Whoa. Okay.
You're basically betting Atlanta's going to stay put and that it'll fall there because he's like minus 210 for the first defensive player. Minus 170 if the Falcons take an edge rusher. They need an edge rusher. They will take an edge rusher with that coach. And Dallas Turner is definitely the guy. They want that all reports, blah, 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 that they like him as much, Alabama speed guy. His only knock is they say he takes plays off, which I love. In college, they run like double the amount of plays they do in the NFL. He did like 900 plays or something like that in college, which is like, they do like 60 a game in the NFL. It's just insane. They're always on the field and just how many plays they run in college. So anytime I feel that's a knock, I don't find that at all as anything to look bad upon. So I think the Falcons for sure take Dallas Turner at 8.
Dallas Turner. Yeah, no, I mean, edge rusher early, always a safe bet. I was trying to look up his name.
Huge red flag. He's named Dallas.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it might have been. I think it might have been Xavier Worthy, but one of the receivers admitted that he didn't run full speed every play. They were asking him about it. He goes, "No, I like to save some for the rest of the drive."
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
These young people, Sean. I
don't know. It reminded me of the one time my buddy Bill and I, we were trying to get jobs, went to Ocean City, Maryland job fair to get like summer jobs. And we were both interviewed at the same time. It was like, a very casual job fair type thing. They were just looking for some broke, kids in their early 20s to work
to harvest.
And they asked them to say, my buddy Bill, "Oh, tell me about yourself." And he goes,
"Oh no,
I don't work well with other people." He goes, "I'd rather just be left alone to do some task."
Love it.
The guy's like, "All right, thank you." My first draft prop, and Kramer, you kind of put me onto this when we've been having our draft discussions here. You look at every sort of like team bet of like what they're going to use on the first round pick. It's all offensive linemen, and it's all by a huge number. But the reality is, there's only so many offensive linemen. I get it; it's a very deep draft, but it's set at 9.5 for the first round. I'm taking the under at plus odds, plus 140. My logic is when there's been 9 other offensive linemen drafted, are you really going to be excited to get the 10th drafted offensive lineman in the first round? I think people are just doing the math of like, oh, hey, why not? You can always use an offensive lineman. Good way to team build. But if you actually go through there, like no one's excited to take the 10th guy at that position in the first round. So the fact that you're getting plus odds on, that would be 1 out of 3 teams taking an offensive lineman. I'm sure it can happen, but at plus odds, Kramer, am I crazy?
So it does seem like a lot of the team odds kind of line up to what you're saying. Now, I would imagine if you were to do a quick tabulation of how many teams have offensive linemen in their top 2 favorite for odds, you're going to be sitting in you're probably at like 14 teams. Like it's a lot of teams. And so I think you just have but even like starting, even if you're super ambitious, the first offensive lineman isn't drafted until 5, maybe 4. A lot of teams have Joe Alt going 7 to Tennessee. I think we saw.
I just think the path to getting to 10 is crazy.
The number opened at 10.5, 10, then came down to 9.5. So I think people agree with you. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good offensive linemen, and I think you follow the NFL closely, Sean.
Yes.
Outside of the top guys, you don't really know a ton about the other positions because it's all about the linemen and the receivers. There's always going to be news about the quarterbacks. You have a handful of cornerback prospects sprinkled in, but I think for the most part, this is a draft about the linemen and receivers. So numbers probably good. I think you're going to be sweating the hell out of that one because I think there's going to be a run of linemen right in the middle of the first round there between 10 and 20. Because you're right, there may only be one in the top 10, maybe two.
Yeah,
and so good luck.
Thank you.
That's going to be a sweat.
And from our experience from fantasy drafting, you never follow the run. You know,
no, the runs. It's getting too hot. You gotta let it cool off.
So
give me the number 2 tight end, not the 10th best O lineman.
No, come on.
You know,
Sean, you'll get a kick out of this. But there's nothing that Bowser loves more than when we start a run in our best.
Yeah,
makes you feel so smart. It's one of the best things about drafting near the end. All right.
Yes.
I'm going to keep the theme going with things that we've talked about. This comes from if you haven't listened to the episode where we had Dave from Our Lads on, talked a little bit about Sean Payton's preference when it comes to hand size for the quarterback.
Loves a long hand.
We've seen some movement from some books on the Bo Nix market, but FanDuel still has -130. This is this is like -250 at DraftKings. This is like -200 in far away places, Sean.
No, I mean seriously, shop around when you're doing these because I mean, yeah, to your point, like a lot, and not only, and even within the same book, because a lot of times there's essentially the same bet that is priced 2 different ways. But yeah, I mean, especially with the draft props, the discrepancies are all over the place.
The idea that they trade back and harvest more draft equity. They don't have a ton. Like they don't have a second rounder this year. I think they almost certainly would love to trade down from 12, put themselves back into the first round, early second, whatever puts them in a comfortable place to maybe they're the trade partner. I don't know who comes up to that range and why they come up, but I think Denver's desperately trying to go down. And I think it's because they want to do something like draft Bo Nix and they don't want to do it at number 12.
So they realize they're higher on Bo Nix than everyone else.
I would imagine. I mean, based on some of the stuff I've read, Bo Nix is a 3rd round draft prospect.
But if Bo Nix is there at 12, don't you think they just draft him?
No, they don't have a second rounder. They have a couple. They have extra 5th and 6th rounders, but
your bet is that they draft him.
I think that they draft.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where, but I think it involves a trade down as well. So
right.
It's the only chalk I have, but I think it makes a lot of sense. And I do think they're going to be much like Peyton is not going to care that he's much higher than the entire league on Bo Nix. I think the league's pretty out on Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is
CJ, you in on Bo Nix?
I don't know with Bo Nix. it's. I mean, I like.
We've seen what his potential is. I don't think he's going anywhere else. That's the thing.
They say he can make all the throws. All the reports are good about him.
It's a wide angle release right here.
It is a wide angle release with Bo Nix. I don't know the whole.
He might work in with Sean Payton, but yeah, I don't know I don't think his ceiling's incredibly high.
All right.
Well, they have Jared Stidham, so he has time.
It's hard to get the Auburn Bo Nix out of my head. You know,
yeah. That was pretty rough.
Bo Nix. Yeah. Same thing with Jaden Daniels. You know, it's hard to get the Arizona State Jaden Daniels out of my head, and now he's the LSU.
Who can forget Michael Penix at Indiana?
All right. Well, I liked Penix in Indiana though, but Penix in the hospital is what it really was.
Yeah, he was a little banged up.
Yeah.
CJ, what do you got?
All right, this is where we like to get a little fun here. I like that 8th with the Atlanta Falcons. It took +150. I like to back it up in that Bears pick at number 9. It's very exciting for me because there's what they should do and what the Bears might want to do to get that fan base excited.
Ooh.
I like Jared Vertigo there at +450. That's what they should do. They should get a nice edge rusher in Jared Vertigo. But I think once they get Caleb Williams, even though they did get Keenan Allen in a trade and they do have DJ Moore, I think they're really going to get these delusional fan base lunatic. You get Caleb Williams and you pair him up with Malik Nabers.
Oh
yeah.
Whoa.
12-1 to go number 9th overall. You got a fun little offense right there with those 3 receivers and Caleb coming at you.
Well, I mean, what better way to just sell to Bears fans?
That's what I mean.
And they're trying to sell a new stadium. So don't don't think that them drafting Caleb Williams and them deciding to get this new stadium going are unrelated.
No,
they're going to use the
absolutely.
Caleb momentum to get a new stadium. And I even saw Brock Bowers going to the Bears. I think that could be interesting, but I like the Nabers play as well.
I like the Nabers play. I mean, and you're pairing them up to do that 5 years, with them, their career together. They be paired together and they'll
You got the crafty veteran Keenan Allen. And then you got the young up and comer, the young buck to pair.
There'll be a
with
wide receiver 3. You can't have two crabby old receivers with Moore and Keenan Allen yelling at him. You need someone who relates to him, who knows the TikTok sensations, and the
They
music.
can paint their nails together.
Right, absolutely.
If Nabers goes 9th, something interesting has happened already in the draft. I mean, just do the math. There's 8 picks before, even if 4 quarterbacks go.
Right.
Joe Alt.
Only 2 receivers. That's 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you need Joe Alt. So you need
7.
and Dallas Turner.
Okay.
Right. What,
So is that it?
well,
I mean, that's not incomprehensible for a 12-1.
that's a nice 19 parlay I got right there.
I think
problem.
someone's
That's
coming
an exacta.
I think if Nabers is the one that slips, someone's going to come up for him. I think the speed element of Nabers is making him.
I've seen him slipping below that too, though. Haven't you seen him out of the top 10? I've seen some.
I don't think any of those top receivers are falling past. I mean, I guess
I don't either, but I think
guess 9 is probably the limit because I've seen some Odunze to the Bears.
I was just going to wait till one of you guys pronounce his name before I mispronounce it. But yeah, I mean, the way they're talking about Odunze,
Odunze, and I don't want to spoil it if Ryan might have it, but Odunze to be the first receiver,
wow,
I don't think it's totally crazy.
Not crazy. They love him. I mean,
the fact that Harrison didn't work out at the combine, I don't think he's. I just through this whole process we've heard it's like Harrison, Nabers, Odunze, lock it up. I don't think it's as locked in that 1, 2, 3 that people are making it out to be. Would be my big takeaway. My next prop: give me the Pittsburgh Steelers position a first drafted player. Offensive lineman, again, like every team, is the big favorite at -275. The O-line's definitely a need. Wide receiver is +330. They have used early picks on wide receiver, although normally it's the second round, not the first. Cornerback is a need, and a number of mocks have them going cornerback. It's 6-1, and I think it's a good fit because I've seen mocks having Quinn and Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Nate Wiggins all going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which means like I think I think they might be able to get the first cornerback even if they just stay put. I think it's a good fit. They like drafting defense early. They value defense. So cornerback to me at 6-1 for the Steelers is a pretty good price.
I like that, especially since they got a quarterback who can't throw the ball now. So why get a receiver for him? Why waste capital? No, I'm being serious.
I really, and they're so heavy.
Which quarterback you talking about?
Justin Fields and Russell Wilson suck for 2 completely different reasons.
Put them together.
It's pretty hilarious. Yeah, like if you can somehow combine the 2, they might be a decent quarterback. But I think they're kind of just fine saying fuck it with their offense right now.
Yeah,
and then strengthening up that defense. So cornerback at 6-1, especially considering it's a pretty obvious team need, I think is a pretty good spot.
Absolutely.
The scariest thing about taking the not chalk with the Steelers is how much they telegraph their picks.
They do, but the word isn't out yet. Yeah. Like the word that they were drafting Najee, that came like the week of. Like I think you get it now because I think them drafting a cornerback, and they've already.
They always make the most obvious decision.
Sometimes they do. They make the most Steeler decision.
Yeah,
the Steelers blogs were super high on Quinn and Mitchell, so I think there could be something there.
And of course, they need a center, not even an O-line. Like Steelers need of course you need a center. You got a Hall of Fame center that lived in a garbage can for 15 years.
Hey, we got more draft props, but before we get there, shout out to Avo. That's right, proud to partner up with Avo, the premier sports betting arbitrage tool. If you're new to arbitrage sports betting, very simple. You're basically betting both sides of a bet, 2 different sports books to lock in a profit. Very easy to use, and the tool scans all the sports books, finds a discrepancy in the odds. Hey, it's -105 here, but it's +140 here. You bet both of them, and they help you figure out the ideal amount to bet to lock in a profit. Very easy to use, and again, the best part is it's free without restrictions. So they're in beta testing right now, but completely free. Why would you not want to get it? Try it out. Get started today at arbsversusodds.com, arbsvsodds.com. Arbs versus Odd to get started with Avo. Sports betting arbitrage software, again, completely free. All you need is the email to get set up. Why would you not try it out there? It's super fast too. Like, you'll see it constantly refreshing your different opportunities. It even has live markets as well. So get in over on Arbs versus Odds. Kramer, what else you got draft prop wise?
Well, I didn't even write. I did not write it down because I thought you would steal it. And then you stole it anyway.
Which one was that?
Odunze to be the first receiver.
Oh no, I said I didn't want to steal it from you.
It was floating.
And then I it's Tout 101, Ryan. I float the idea of, I mean, come on, have you ever listened to Colby's show? I float the idea of something, and then if it happens, I come back and take credit. But you notice I didn't officially make it a pick.
All right, so it's 30-1.
Playing both sides.
It's 30-1. I don't think. I think, to your point, I think some people love the speed of Nabers. I think the first team that probably has Nabers definitely number one is the Giants. But now maybe the Giants like
well, they're getting JJ McCarthy, right?
I think it's Drake May, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Drake May. But
Ryan's. This is what's happening, CJ. Ryan's falling in love with Drake May, and he's making sure it all happens.
Yeah,
Ryan, there's a banner hanging out of the most accurate mock draft.
Sean,
so
just then give the Giants Drake May.
No, I don't know if I can do that.
Give the Giants.
I don't know
Drake
if I
May.
can do that, Ryan.
Are they trading down?
I think it's gonna happen. I believe, but. I also think that Odunze, all right, again, Marvin Harrison doesn't work out, doesn't do anything. Will a team pass on him because now you watch the film guys, I would say, are not consistently saying Marvin Harrison's the best prospect.
Now Odunze,
you sprinkle
Ryan,
in the body control and just in game, like the tape that Odunze has making, whether it's contested catches or just NFL style catches, or it's Nabers and his elite game breaking speed, you now have enough variance to know it's. I don't believe it's Marvin Harrison for sure, number one. So then for number two, is it really going to be the guy who didn't want to get weighed, might be a little undersized? Odunze checks all the boxes. They're comping him to Jamar Chase. I don't care who the other guys are getting comped to. Like, Jamar Chase is a big grown ass man. So Odunze to be the first receiver, play a little variance there, 30-1.
Do you have a team that you think would take Odunze first? Now does Odunze going first? Does
all
that
right,
mean
so in your
the Cardinals trade back?
In your scenario, let's just say all four quarterbacks go.
Okay.
And the Chargers take Joe Alt and the Giants can take all three receivers. I know they like Odunze. I know they like speed, but I know they like Odunze. I don't know what would happen there. I don't know. I mean, I assume the Giants would take a receiver there. Someone would take a receiver. Maybe someone trades up at that point, but I'm not so sure. I don't know. Arizona loves Marvin Harrison.
No, I think
I don't think NFL teams like it when you don't work out for them.
I think the receivers are way closer. I think NFL teams have them way closer than the betting market. Would be my big takeaway. Why not try a little sprinkle on the long shot?
I mean, when you really break it down, Marvin Harrison had an easier path in college last year.
Maserati Mar
and Odunze was he was in a positive offense, but he was getting
the Washington receiver thing. I think might scare some people off, but. Yeah, I think it's way closer to a toss-up.
Nabers, who knows? He might be a lightweight.
CJ,
doesn't like the scale.
What do you got?
Wow, that's a lot. I love it.
30-1.
30-1. It's a great price on Tuesday, and I think he might be the best receiver of those three. But I actually like Nabers as well. Here's a fun one. I like.
CJ has an incredible amount of stuff written down.
I think he's got a full mock draft thing going on right here.
A lot of needs, a lot of desires. Team desires and team needs are different. A position that's trying to get rubbed out of the draft, of course, is one is running back. The other one is safety. You can get a safety at plus 400 to be taken in the first round. Skip that.
Ooh.
Okay, not big enough.
Not big enough for me for a safety. If you want to cash in on a safety being taken, you got to look at who's going to take a safety.
That's the market.
That is a market. I only see 2 teams I see that would take a safety, at least of said desire. San Francisco is one at 25-1. They pick what 31st. Obviously, everyone has them getting alignment, but they did claim that they do need a safety. But the one I do think will actually has a very good chance of taking the safety is the Packers. They picked 25th. Okay. Now they lost Savage and Owens. They did give a lot of money to your guy.
They picked
Xavier
up McKinney.
Yeah, who is the best safety. But they have.
Oh, he's a great tour guide down there in Cabo.
But they have came out and said that they want to pair him up with a young safety, not another any kind of veteran free agent to play with him. They want them. They can learn under the tutelage, all the money they gave him, and all the things. So they have been talking about taking a safety. You can get him at the Packers are 12-1. To take a safety.
All right.
And the first one. That's what I'm going. They lost both safeties. They right now they have an empty slot right there as opposed to safety across from Xavier.
Slot. How's the slot?
Hot new slots. When I was in Vegas, by the way, off Fremont Street at the liquor store, I almost sent you guys the picture of it, but somehow you could incorporate it to your. I thought of your sound, but it was like hot new slots on the liquor store. The way they
Lenny Dykstra loves the hot new slots. Yeah. All right, I'm about to break the draft. Kramer gave out a 30-1. I'm about to break the draft with a 100-1 NFL draft prop that you can get widely available right now. What if I told you there was a gentleman drafting that in his? Well, I can't even do it. It'll obviously reveal it. But Los Angeles Chargers first. Player. Send that to me. I'll send it to producer Josh, and we can try and get it up. Los Angeles Chargers first player drafted position. Running back is 100-1.
Whoa.
Okay. Let's walk through this. Is it a little crazy that the Chargers would take a running back at 5? Yes. Now I'm not predicting that would happen. However, is it crazy that the Chargers would trade down? No, not at all. From what we're seeing of what they're trying to do with the Chargers offense, is anything saying like high flying pass heavy offense? Like, no, they're going to put together a run heavy offense. They brought in Greg Roman, for Christ's sake. Yeah. Greg Roman thrive. I mean, they might have like 12 Herbert keepers a game if they're going to run the Lamar Jackson offense. I think now let's take a look at this. The team that's favored to land Blake Corum is the Los Angeles Chargers at only plus 190. Now it's the first player drafted. It's not saying in the first round. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers trade down in the first. Everyone's arm race to get up to JJ McCarthy. The Vikings have been linked to trading up. Now, maybe they trade down, get a Vikings pick, give up a bunch of picks. They know they have a thin roster. In his 4 years in San Francisco, 2 running backs drafted in the first couple of rounds. I think in the second round in those years. They're favored to land Blake Corum. I had someone. I read a mock draft the other day that had the Chargers taking Blake Corum at 21.
Whoa, come on!
Probably a little overdraft.
I mean, what is going on here?
Now, in fairness, Corum to be a first rounder is 15-1.
What part of the internet are you hanging out in, Sean? Is this only for the champs, the mock draft champs? You just look down on the peasants.
100-1 for the Chargers to draft a running back. I love it.
Love it
because he's the ultimate old school guy. Now, they're not going to take it at 5, but if they trade down or they trade out of the first round completely, I wouldn't be surprised if they take a running back first at 100-1.
Love it. I love it. I love ones that continue and like they're if bets. If they trade out, you're alive.
If they trade out or trade down,
you're absolutely alive.
If they pick at 5, you're cooked. But
they pick at 5. The way you just talked, I just saw the narrative of the story of Harbaugh taking Marvin Harrison.
Yeah,
Michigan, Ohio State, like
like a Big Ten angle. Yeah, I mean, exactly. He saw a bunch of.
Well, the Blake Corum made me think about that. He picks guys he knows. And Marvin Harrison, but Michigan, Ohio State, just for that phone call.
Only guys he's had sleepovers.
Right.
With. He prefers to have slept over with you before he drafts you.
Kramer.
I feel so bad now. You had this great crescendo to a massive 100 to 1. There was no way anyone was going to come out with a bigger.
Oh, is this your 110 to 1?
110 to 1.
Oh
my God.
Cowboys, they have the 24th pick in the first round. They've done nothing in free agency. Maybe they trade back.
Yeah.
There's a very strong chance they use their second round pick on a running back. They've yet to sign any additional resources other than Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
A lot has been made between Trey Benson and the Cowboys, a local boy, Jonathan Brooks from the University of Texas. Cowboys' first player drafted a running back is 110 to 1.
What? That's insane.
It's worth.
well, and again, other places have that at like 40 to 1,
Yeah,
right?
and
So
this is
crazy.
and yeah, exactly. Like DK 40 to 1, FanDuel 110 to 1. It was so serious that we had all right. Let's go make sure we get the company portfolio invested in this one.
I mean,
How could that be? 110-1 for a position they need.
They're being mocked. Basically, we're just a trade down away from it happening.
Right. It's another if.
And you want to talk about a trade down, like a team that like in a range where you trade down and maybe someone comes up to get their quarterback, or maybe they feel like this next
especially
tier
end of the first round,
of receiver right there is. So yeah, 24 is an interesting trade down spot. So yeah, 110 to 1 Cowboys take a running back first, which also then would be excellent to make fun of the Cowboys for taking a running back first.
CJ.
I know. I feel like I drafted Julius Jones every year in the fantasy league because of following Dallas's mistake when they passed over Steven Jackson. I like this if bet scenario. A trade down team. You're looking live, and I'm looking at your Giants.
Well, you think they're trading down?
I think they're getting out of that position.
Tell me about it.
I think they're terrified of whoever they pick at 6.
Oh,
they're going to get lambasted and ripped. They're already getting roasted, and they haven't even made the pick yet.
I am excited about Drew Lock. Sean keeps making fun of me, but I am all in. Drew Lock.
Yeah,
I'm getting a Lock jersey, 100%.
I think if they drop down, to late teens and 20s and take an actual need, one that would make a little more simple sense. I think they need a cornerback, even though they want that one guy to be the number 1. They are 30 to 1 to draft a cornerback.
Oh boy!
And there's plenty of them in this draft. If they go down to if they get down, trade down.
What? Yeah, I mean,
did you see the way DeAndre Baker was running?
He's not a number 1 corner. I know they want it to happen, but
did you see DeAndre Baker in the UFL running down and making that
Where
play?
was that speed?
He did.
He was the 3rd first round pick for the Giants back in 2019.
Yeah.
And remember that he had that picnic where he robbed the guy at the barbecue, and then we're right out of the league into the UFL making plays
right
at that level.
Yeah.
I remember Ryan trying to spin the barbecue robbery. That was great.
Well, I didn't try to spin anything. It was just like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Ryan, cornerback for the Giants, 30 to 1. How we
is
feel?
it a need? Is the secondary a need in your eyes?
Yes. I would put it.
It's not exciting. I understand.
It's after quarterback. It's after wide receiver. It's after offensive and defensive line in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't think they want to take a quarterback.
So 30 to 1 is probably good. Like, I don't mind. Like, the price is okay. But do they need another cornerback? I think so. I think it's one of the positions I think they're going to be drafting a safety at some point in this draft.
Sure.
Not in the first round.
Like I said, when you trade down, you get a couple of those picks. You get the teens, the 20s, and the second rounders, and get a few guys. I don't think they want to. I think they're terrified of that 6th pick.
They haven't paid a cornerback or a safety. I think it's logical to think that they're going to continually use the draft to build that part of the roster. So that's the nicest thing I can say about it. I mean, 30 to 1. Like I said, I don't hate the price. I got a million bets on what the Giants are going to draft.
If they stick at 6, I'd like them to take Odunze. Odunze.
Yeah,
I do.
Because that helps Drew Lock this year.
Yeah, sure. We got to get that connection going.
Well, what about JJ McCarthy, your starting quarterback?
Well, no, Dan Jones will be healthy by training camp. I don't know if you've seen. He's back. Undertaker meme.
All right. Speaking of our teams, Philadelphia Eagles first player selected. Defensive lineman plus 210.
Nice.
Cornerback is favored. Offensive line are favored. Now, I mean, first round, they're pretty reliable to always build in the trenches. They do have Lane and Jordan Mailata locked up for tackles. They just extended Jordan Mailata. So yeah, them adding a depth tackle certainly possible. I would like them to draft a cornerback, but they just don't seem to do it. The last time they drafted a cornerback in the first round, you got to go all the way back to 2002. Lito, the Lord's Shepherd, if you remember him, Lito. They traded Hassan Reddick. Yeah, they brought in Huff, but he could be a little more situational guy. Like they always love defensive line and edge rushers. So I think at plus 210, good price. They're looking to load up on the defense. Obviously, defense was a huge issue last year. I don't think they're in the mix for a receiver this year in the first round. O-line maybe, and cornerback I'm just slightly skeptical, just because of their history. So give me D-line at plus 210. Yeah, I mean, what do you think they do, CJ?
I think they got cornerback, but you're right about everything you said. And
cornerback's price, just like you got to lay money. So,
and it just seems like that if they say right, you do got to lay money, so it's not worth making the bet. I like your bet for D lineman because they could definitely do that. No matter what it is, it's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. I'll be upset actually if they go
offense. I'd be pretty surprised.
Right, that'd be kind of shocking. I mean, obviously that defense was abysmal last year, so they just need to load up. And they didn't sign any. I mean, they did. They actually took care of the safety position.
Yeah,
we locked that down, which is a modern football. So they could. The guy from Toledo, I saw them taking him. I mean, we'll see.
Worth noting that Odunze to be the first non-quarterback is 40-1 versus 30-1 to be the first receiver. You wanted to get frisky. Interesting angle there.
Yeah, I think that the rest there I don't see worth it if you're already getting 30-1 for not to be Marvin Harrison.
All right, last one
for Alt to sneak in there.
Wait, we've all given out 4.
Yep.
Trifecta. Always love the trifecta. We know Caleb Williams is going number 1.
Oh, you're
minus 10,000, as Sean first reported.
Yes.
Jaden Daniels now seemingly also very, very Commanders Redskins football team to take the guy that's obviously going to be the bust.
Injured.
RG3. We were discussing. He's a less exciting RG3.
He does have a lot of RG3 vibes.
Who's smaller and more likely to get hurt, and does not have world class speed at the 400 hurdles or whatever RG3 ran. So then third, that's the linchpin. So I feel pretty confident after reading through the extensive reporting that Crack Rock and others have done.
We got to get him on the show.
That says I believe the Vikings will be the team to draft JJ McCarthy. We're seeing that at a plus 110 favorite right now over on DraftKings.
Ooh.
So I think the Patriots have now said they are not only fine looking at trading down scenarios, but they are also fine with Jacoby Brissett as their quarterback this year. They might be lying.
Yeah.
But even if they aren't, I also think Robert Kraft has said nice things about JJ McCarthy. So whether it's Minnesota coming up or it's the Patriots standing pat and giving us our dream of getting McCarthy,
it's a baby fucking wheel, man.
See what Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels,
Drake May would be available.
JJ McCarthy. First 3 plus 750. Drake May is suddenly available at the 4th pick. Or maybe the 5th pick, or maybe the 6th pick to the New York Football Giants.
See CJ, you gotta see what he's trying to pull.
Stay tuned for my amateur mock draft coming soon. Not like Sean, true professional.
CJ, 5th draft.
But you've hit that trifecta before, right?
I play it every year. Yeah. The last time we hit it was the Trayvon Walker year.
Oh,
that was if you remember that
was weird.
Once the information happened, it was pretty accurate.
JJ McCarthy to the Patriots is amazing. I remember, was it Sean McDermott? The
Bill?
No, the announcer, Will McDonough.
Oh, but yeah,
the R.I.P. the announcer. He used to do a talk show with Bill Parcells, and that's when Tampa Bay was the head of the Warren Sapp defense, and they were playing the Cowboys week 1, and he goes, Will McDonough, I'll never forget it. Hearing on the radio, he goes, one quarterback I wouldn't want to be this week Quincy Carter. He said it with the most Boston accent because they're running option against Warren Sapp. Yeah.
Just love the.
So I can imagine McCarthy being up in Boston would be incredible.
Give me all of it. I mean, forget the fact that he resembles Mac Jones physically. Just give me all of it.
I love it. Last one, just a small one. I like a lot of these of teams, what position they're going to take. Houston plus 210 D linemen I like a lot.
Oh, interesting.
Because they lost a couple of their D tackles, and you know how they've done enough on offense to get.
Well, that's how San Francisco's done it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They lost Willis and whatever. Jacksonville's a nice one too. 650 for edge linemen. They also could use that as well.
Okay.
I like that as well. But the one I like the most of a lot of plus money, I do think Tennessee takes Joe Alt. But that's minus
Callahan pick right there
for sure. But Detroit Lions plus 275 to get one of these 10 offensive linemen in this draft.
Yep.
If you take Penei Sewell out, their line, I think their average age averages to like 32 years old.
It's a great pick.
And so, and you got the ankle biter, of course, Dan Campbell.
Great pick.
You know, we know with the lunatic he pulled last year with the running backs. I think finally they're going to get some linemen and do some Dan Campbell stuff. I think at plus 275, they grab one of those. And the linemen in this draft class, too, there's not a lot of great elite pass blocking linemen. They all seem like they're like these hippo boosts, like Polynesian beasts that just run block and just drill you into that field.
The kid from Oregon State's amazing.
All of those guys are incredible. So I see Campbell taking one of them.
Jared Goff MVP is 40-1.
I'll book it. I'll book it.
Parlay that with O lineman plus 275 because they're correlated.
I'm gonna have to add that to my my Will Levis MVP.
Your portfolio.
Will
and
Levis,
Kyler.
I like much better than Jared Goff.
No, that's I have Kyler.
With the price.
I have Kyler and Will Levis.
Well, because Will Levis making a leap in.
What's his number?
Will Levis is 150-1.
Oh wow.
Kyler's 50-1. Will Levis is 150-1. For reference,
I was on Ryan Tannehill last year.
What about Richardson?
Caleb Williams is 50-1. Will Levis is 150.
That's insane. That's how bad their line is. That's why I definitely see him taking alt. What's Richardson at?
35-1. That's spicy. Comeback player of the year, though, right?
Yeah, he's
DeMar didn't die last year, so we can handicap this normal.
Still don't know how Joe Flacco beat him. Never saw that coming. My last draft prop, Mr. Irrelevant, his position. So again, this is a total crapshoot. I was going back and looking. It feels pretty random. Some reason quarterback is the favorite, but like that was just a shot in the dark. The 49ers with Brock Purdy. The Jets right now have the last 2 picks in the draft. It comes down to like these weird comp picks at the end. I'm saying running back at 10-1 is a pretty fun bet here for Mr. Irrelevant. One, you don't want to take a quarterback. You got Aaron Rodgers. You don't want to anger him. You probably already drafted some receivers, some guys you actually need. They actually do need a need. Israel Abanikanda is currently their second running back, and the guy barely saw the field. I like him, but they're going to need to draft a running back in this draft at some point. You don't want to spend a lot on a running back. Running back is the ultimate upside draft position. So them taking a running back 10-1 feels great. So yeah, give me Mr. Irrelevant to be a running back at 10-1.
I like that too, because when you're drafting Mr. Irrelevant, and obviously the Brock Purdy is why quarterback is the favorite. But you want to draft because that guy gets like a parade. He gets a big day. You can't draft some lineman. You know what I mean? To go be part of it fun. This is gonna be a photographic memory. I mean, this is something that you're gonna put on your website. You're gonna tweet this stuff out. You get yourself a running back will be fun at the stock exchange or wherever they take him down to.
I will say, I think there's some weird nugget too. This pick gets traded a lot. Like it's not.
Yeah. So it's to the point that it gets traded a bunch. It's a total crapshoot. Why would you take 3-1 when there's like 10-1?
The logic on quarterback is just like treating it like a priority free agent, but the chances of you having the last pick and doing that does feel very reckless.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. All right, gonna get to some best bets for tomorrow. Before we do that, shout out to Unify. That's right. Whether you're a world-class athlete or a podcaster like myself, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being, proper recovery for top-notch performance. Imagine playing in the Final Four Saturday and then you turn around to Monday. It's a quick turnaround. You're gonna need a little edge. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode. aka our draft props. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of EE System yet, you want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, rejuvenation. Whether you're here in LA or hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. Interested in experiencing EE System technology for yourself? Go to unifiedhealing.com/SGPN to learn more and find a center near you. Unified, UNIFYD healing.com/SGPN. No material testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before using a new healthcare regimen, including EE System. All right, best bets for Tuesday, April 9th, brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Get you a 100% deposit bonus on the old Underdog Fantasy. If you missed the Final Four preview watching live, you can still get in on the pick'em we put in together on that show. It is Mason Gillis, higher 9.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Donovan Clingan, lower 14 points. Stefan Castle, higher 11 points. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. CJ, do you want to start? Any best bets for tomorrow?
Yeah, for tomorrow there's a good NBA slate for tomorrow as we get down to the last couple games of the season. People jockeying for position.
All the teams are locked in, but not the spots.
Not the spots. And in the NBA, it's important because of the play-in spots. You don't want to be in those one and dones. The new NBA, of course, where you have to actively try to miss the playoffs to do it. It's much more difficult to do that than it is to actually make it. But what is for these Phoenix Suns? They've been a hot team, and they're right on the cusp of getting to that 6th seed, which they're desperately trying to get to. And they lost to the Pelicans. They were up on them, and then the Clippers had this insane comeback versus Cleveland, where down 26. Then they won. They're like, oh, well, if they won, who cares? And they kind of phoned it in. But they play each other, and these Clippers have been a disaster lately. They're kind of limping down the stretch, if you will. They had their chance to get up all the way up to the 2 seed. Now they know they're not going to do that. I think they're pretty satisfied from where they're at. They had to do a miracle comeback versus the Cavs, but Phoenix has been on fire. They're at home. It's a short number. 4.5. It was 3.5. It's on the move, but either way. I like Phoenix is starting to gel right now, and they're getting in playoff shape. So I like Phoenix to win easily, late 4.5.
Keeping it chalky as well in the NBA. Give me the Thunder at home, -3.5 against the Kings. OKC getting SGA back. They were 0-5 ATS on the road, coming back home. They're in the mix for the #1 seed in the West. So you imagine they got to be motivated. They're 19-12 ATS as a home favorite. Kings are, I forget where the Kings are exactly, but this is a good spot to take the Thunder. Ultimate bounce back spot for them. And my other best bet, give me the Magic laying 2.5 in Houston. Magic are crazy. 26-9 against the spread as a favorite. Only one game back from the 2 spot in the East. Rockets, since they got eliminated essentially in that Warriors loss, their defense, they've just stopped trying. They let up 133, 119. Then that was against the Heat, and then let up 147 against the Mavs. They're kind of packing it in. Magic will run it up on them. So,
and that was a brutal loss they had versus the Mavs there too. If you didn't see it,
yeah, it was.
It was in overtime. They gave up a 3, missed 2 free throws, 3 at the buzzer. They should have fouled for the 2, and that was like their one last effort. Like, let's try this one again. So I see them completely quitting after that.
No, that was like their last little bit of a pulse, and they were catching 7.5, went into overtime, and they lost by 9.
Easy win if you had the math for us Mav backers.
That was crazy. So Magic -2.5, Thunder -3.5. Kramer, what are you doing? You're not an association.
Oh no, absolutely not until the playoffs when I can rely on the effort from these hooligans.
Fair enough. Hooligans, that's coded language.
What do you mean? It's I'm just calling it like I see it. All right, here's what we're doing. Let's see. I should probably pull up the schedule, make sure I got the old opponent correct. All right, perfect. I thought so. Marlins are playing my Yankees, which of course I'm a huge baseball fan. Grew up going to Yankee Stadium. It's for the first time I saw a "Show Your Tits" chant was in the bleachers of Yankee Stadium. My parents, we went for opening day every year, and this year one year we end up in the bleachers for some god, like as if they they had no idea what went on out there. Well, anyway, as a middle school aged boy, we were having the best time. Saw real boobs pulled out of a shirt. It was amazing. Anyway, they're playing the Marlins, and the pitcher on the scheduled pitcher for tomorrow. So again, obviously you want to double check. Are you a starters for action guy?
Yeah, of course.
Of course you are, because you're a sharp. AJ, is it Puke?
Yep, Puke.
Oh, got it right. Puke. He misses the strike zone a ton. And I remember a couple of things from my baseball handicapping days. You like pitchers who miss bats. You don't like pitchers who throw a lot of pitches because they miss the strike zone. He's one of them. Yankees have been dialed in, so we're taking the Yankees at whatever insane price they're at. We also love the Mariners tomorrow because Kirby's the opposite. He has been doing what I'm talking about. He's missing bats. Little regression coming on that BABIP, maybe little ERA regressing towards that xFIP. I mean, once upon a time, I was deep into it, and then I made a blockbuster fantasy trade for Oscar Taveras days before he died. I'll ask me more about that story in San Diego tomorrow. And if you want a bonus play, shout out to Scott and the Tennis Gambling Podcast, Alexander Zverev to win the ATP Monte Carlo 16-1.
Woo! Yeah, you guys got to play on that Cubs Padres game. You said you're going to be there live.
I'll be on the Padres.
I think Padres.
So yeah, I'm on the Yankees, the Mariners, and the Padres tomorrow, and I'm sprinkling Alexander Zverev to win the ATP Monte Carlo at 16-1.
Yankees
shout out Tennis Gambling.
Yankees are only 190. I'm looking at for tomorrow. Not too crazy.
Right. Parlay. We're round robining these teams. We're doing it all.
Josh, I did send you the slot graphic if you have a chance.
Yes.
Packaged liquor. That's only I don't understand what packaged liquor is, but packaged liquor and cocktails, hot new slots. You would think a phrase "hot new slots." If you're just listening to the audio, you imagine this bright neon sign. No, it's just like hand painted on a mysterious white wall.
And look at that stained brick wall there too.
It could be packaged hot new slots.
Oh, okay.
The liquor could be unrelated.
Yeah, and the accentation around hot. It's not a quote. It's like it really is hot. Like it's a pepper coming out of there.
This could be where Colby's liquor dealer source is from, Sean.
Going straight to the source.
Single sourced.
Before we go, got a couple of podcast reviews to read real quick.
Really?
Catch up on those.
I didn't think we had any of those.
Oh yes, we got a bunch of them.
Coverage been pretty dry.
Here. Where are we going here? Had to leave a 5-star review after complete sweep in the UFL. These guys are amazing, entertaining, and even comes with great picks and insight. The banter between Sean and Ryan is hilarious, especially when they talk about the Eagles, Giants, or Cowboys. Also love Colby and the guys, the college experience and the NBA gambling podcast.
Wow.
So shout out to you, Flux03. You just won yourself an SGPN gift card. Email us podcast@sportsgamblingpodcast.com. And also another sports gambling podcast is the name of the review. It's a very highly entertaining and informative podcast, especially if you're into NFL and college basketball sports gaming.
I am.
Sean and Ryan provide great insights, tips, and picks in a jovial, jocular manner. Love the use of jovial and jocular. Shout out to you, Jay Podgers. Email us podcast@sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Hook you up with the sweet gift card. Big thanks to CJ. Make sure you subscribe to the Bottom Line Bob's podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast
Thank you
Network.
for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
I'm hot for Drake May, Sean.
Kramer. Let it ride.